The voice of the road, as I've been saying, got the notes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out GPT for organizing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be all over the place if trying to make sure I give y'all saying structured material so I don't be rambling and then not coming back to the point. You know what I'm saying? So, bruh, why so many owner-operators, well, why I think owner-operators don't be passing, I don't want to say passing, but why I think a lot of owner-operators fail, or lease operators fail. I think a lot of people get into trucking and just know that trucking generates or grosses a whole lot of money, but they don't understand the net profit or the net income portion of it. I think that's really what be going on. I just think people go through the motions as a company driver, and then they just be like, oh yeah, I'm finna just get my own truck and go crazy with it. And I'm gonna give y'all some examples. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, many people focus on revenue and freedom, you know what I'm saying? But they have not learned freight markets, cost control, lane strategy, reserves, or business management. So that's essentially what I just touched on. And it's not because there's no money in it, you see what I'm saying? They want to be their own boss, but it costs to be the boss. Like, I think people think that's just like a figure of speech. Like, it really costs to be the boss, and trucking is like one of the most dominant, or I don't even know the right word, prevalent, dominant examples of what that means. So first example, I'm gonna put this on the screen, but I'm gonna find it on my phone where the screenshot at. So everybody says like there's money in heavy hauling, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even talking about just regular driving. Like, we know people make heavy haul. All right, so this was this dude right here, I forgot his name, but I'll put his YouTube up there. But he gives the actual examples for people like me who are thinking about getting their own truck. And as you can see, he grows $283,480. So imagine someone coming to you and be like, yeah, bro, I made over $250,000 last year. I only had one truck. I was a one truck solo by myself. I made over $280,000. You're gonna hear $280,000 and you're gonna be like, oh, he right tight over there, boy. You might have to pull up, boy. Ooh, he know what he doing. Oh yeah, pull up. That's all. You still know what you're doing though, 'cause you ain't hitting shit. But $280,000 sounds great. It sounds great to make over $280,000, but then your expenses was over $215,000. So it's like you made a whole lot, but you also had to spend a whole lot to make that money. So then the net income is $64,000. You know what I'm saying? And net income, usually net income is before personal bills and before taxes are taken out. You see what I'm saying? Because if you do, let me make sure that math is right. 283,480, 21 cent minus 219, 234, 95 cents. 64,245.20. So that's before taxes is taken out and everything. He's just doing how much I made and how much I had to spend. So this is before taxes and personal living expenses comes out. And as you can see, he's in a hotel, so he already knows. He's already said in the video, like, he knows he could be saving more money, but he's also choosing a lifestyle on the road that's creating more expenses at that. But everybody says, oh, heavy haul, bro, you know what I'm saying? That's the wave. And then you look like he made a whole lot of money. But he also spent a whole lot of money just to keep the truck going. So this is just a pure real live example of like, yeah, bro, I made over $250,000 last year, but they're not telling you that they spent damn near the same amount. So this is why I be trying to preach to people, gross revenue don't mean nothing. I don't care how much you gross. Oh yeah, I made so-and-so. Okay, how much did you keep? That's what matters. Now, depending on how you go about it, if you're living in the truck, if you have low living expenses month to month, then, you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to keep the profits and reinvest it, or you know what I'm saying, if you just think of the profits, oh yeah, this is just personal income. I mean, you can think of it like that, but then once you have a 10 to 25,000 repair bill, I don't know what you're gonna do, man. I don't know what you're gonna do. But that's one example how, you know what I'm saying, grossing don't necessarily mean much. So yeah. Also, oh yeah, I just showed y'all that example. You know what I'm saying? Really high gross, almost no profit, man. It's just crazy. So people, when I talked about company drivers not learning the freight markets, right? So I think a lot of people just get the truck and be like, bro, I'ma just run wherever. And they not understanding, like, for example, with me being with Schneider, I've noticed, like, when it comes to like the Midwest and the South and the East, from like New Jersey all the way over, let me pull up Google Maps. I'll put a screenshot of Google Maps. Right, so I'm gonna just boom, take a screenshot. I'm gonna put this screenshot on the screen, right? So if you look to where, well, you can't really see it in the screenshot, but New Jersey is right over there in the far right corner, right? New Jersey, if you draw a line all the way from New Jersey all the way to Missouri, no, all the way to Kansas, all the way down to Texas, all the way over to Georgia and back up, that area right there, that's where I've noticed, like, that's where, you know what I'm saying, the freight be. And when they send me to the Midwest, it's mainly Texas to Arkansas, or Texas to Oklahoma, Texas to Missouri, Texas to Illinois. It's not so, I mean, obviously it's a big company, so obviously they probably have other people doing the other account, because I've been through Iowa. They probably have other drivers doing that, but they don't send me to Iowa as much. Not saying there's not no freight in Iowa, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, when I'm in the Midwest lately, especially, you know what I'm saying, since the summer has been starting, it's been Texas to Missouri, slant over to Illinois, you know what I'm saying, through Ohio, you know what I'm saying, down to Georgia. That's where a lot of the freight be. So I would know where, you know what I'm saying, the lanes to go, you know what I'm saying, Illinois to Georgia, Georgia to Texas, you know what I'm saying, Tennessee to Illinois, Tennessee to Indiana, things like that. Like that, I feel like people, when they're company drivers, they're not paying attention to where they're actually being sent and how long or how much the deadhead miles are. Because when you're doing rate per mile, you have to also factor in how much deadhead do you have to run to get to that load. Like, you have to pay attention, where's what, which is where, you know what I'm saying, how far are they sending me when I'm here, how far are they sending me deadhead when I'm here, because that, as a company driver, it don't matter, but when you the boss, it matters. So another thing, I'm going to show y'all the fuel. So I'm gonna actually show y'all, put the screen recording up there for y'all so y'all can see. For the whole month of July, I calculated the fuel expenses. So for the whole July, as you can see, I calculated all the fuel. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see, $9,882.81. That's $10,000 on fuel alone. So you need to understand that, you know what I'm saying, 4 weeks in a month, 10 divided by 4 is what, like 2 point something, 2 something, 3 something. So you got to know about 3,000 a week on average may be fuel. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at the numbers, if you was able to see, I don't know if I was scrolling too fast, but diesel prices was rising. Like some of them days and weeks, like the fuel price was rising like every day. That joint was crazy. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? That's like 3,000 a week off fuel alone. So you make 10,000 in a week. 3,000 of that went to. You see what I'm saying? So it's just things you gotta pay attention to that I think people kind of overlook, because you have to operate like a business. You can't be an employee. You can't have an employee mindset going to be a owner operator. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? And positioning beats chasing one giant load. So if you have 5, you know what I'm saying, strategic mile loads, like maybe let's say there's like 5 $2,000 loads that are strategically placed, so they're putting you in freight, you know what I'm saying, good freights, you know what I'm saying, good freight markets, you know what I'm saying, that could be a good week, you know what I'm saying, to gross $10,000. But it'll be different if let's say you had 5,000, you had 5 strategic placed $2,000 loads, but I come to you like, yeah, bro, I just took a load. I don't know, man. Like, I just took a load, you know what I'm saying? I just took a load 2,000 miles, you know what I'm saying? That jump paid, you know what I'm saying, $2 a mile, bro. I just made 4,000 off that jump, 2,000 miles. So yeah, I just made, you know what I'm saying, 4,000 off that jump, but it sent me to somewhere like Arizona, or it sent me to Florida or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And now I made that 4,000, but then I had to deadhead 100 miles to Alabama or Georgia to get another good paying load, and I didn't structure it right. So let's say that 2,000 miles gonna be like 3 days. So almost half the week is gone. And you made $4,000. Well, I made $4,000, but I had a deadhead that was crazy. So, you know what I'm saying, that ate into the 4,000 right there. But you had 5 strategically placed loads where you boom, you already knew you could, oh yeah, I can go here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the deadhead only gonna be about 30 miles, deadhead gonna be about 50, 60 miles, you know what I'm saying? But you not going, you know what I'm saying, your deadhead is under an hour or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Your deadhead ain't not 100 miles, 150 miles, 99, 80 miles, you feel me? So that's just half of my week is gone, and I made 4,000, but then I had to deadhead 150 miles just to get, you know what I'm saying, a better load. But you see what I'm saying, now I gotta hope that now I have to structure to make sure that Alabama or Georgia load goes somewhere that's gonna get me a good load. And let's say the middle of the week the rates drop, so you have strategic loads that got you here, and you gonna able to bid, you know what I'm saying, but I'm getting placed in bad markets, and then the freight drop, the rates, let's say something happened, the rates drop, whatever happens, you know what I'm saying, geopolitically, the rates drop. So then now I made that 4,000, it's Wednesday, and it's looking like, you know what I'm saying, I might either have to sit or I might have to accept bad paying loads. You don't want it to be like that. So that's why I feel like some people don't pay attention to where they're being ran as a company driver to know where the good market's at and where they need to be. So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the major reasons why I think people don't be making it. You know what I'm saying? A $10,000 week from 5 strategically connected loads can be stronger than chasing one impressive load that ties up the truck and leaves it stranded. You know what I'm saying? Essentially what I just said. So with that previous example. And also cash reserves and maintenance. If you spending that net profit or them profits, like that's your personal income, and you're not reinvesting into the business, once you get a nice little repair bill that's gonna happen, not if, when it happens, yeah, that's your ass, Mr. Postman. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, like, you gotta plan for maintenance, you gotta understand taxes, you know what I'm saying, you gotta vet brokers, you gotta negotiate rates, you gotta understand, you gotta really run your business how you want to operate. You know what I'm saying? That's how these carriers became mega carriers, because Schneider, who started this, knew like, all right, I have one truck, or I need to make sure I keep reinvesting the profits to get the next truck. That's how, you know what I'm saying, that's how you gonna build a little fleet. Or even if you just run a one truck, you need to understand that, all right, I'm making all this money. Let me go ahead and do some preventative maintenance. Let me go put the shop in. Let me go put the truck in the shop for the weekend. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Maybe take a couple of days off. Hey, what can y'all find that's going on? What can y'all find that's wrong with the truck? And build that up. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it be. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, people, you know what I'm saying, just ways that people, you know what I'm saying, end up fading out, you know what I'm saying, not coming in with enough reserves. It's not smart to come in with like $10,000, but I see a lot on YouTube, a lot of people with SFI, because they don't require like really good credit or nothing like that. So like, and so you don't really have to have like a maintenance, or you don't have to have I said maintenance. You don't have to have like huge cash reserves or whatever. They don't care about that. So, you know what I'm saying, entering with insufficient, you know what I'm saying, reserves, mistaking gross for profit. Like I said, yeah, bro, I made 250,000, but you know what I'm saying, I made 280,000 last year, but I also spent 219,000. You see? So from that example that I showed y'all, you know what I'm saying, like I said in the example before, ignoring deadhead, you know what I'm saying, an unpaid time. You know what I'm saying? The deadhead, and then are you going to sit, or are you going to accept bad freight that's going to cost you even more because you spending fuel, got to spend money on fuel, and the money you're ready to make isn't going to compensate for that. So I think that's what people don't really, they can't survive breakdowns or slow periods because they don't come in with enough reserves. You know what I'm saying? 3 to 6 months, really 6 month expenses and stuff. But also, they want the title of owner-operator before learning the responsibilities. So yeah, man, the chart doesn't care that you wanted to be a boss. The chart doesn't care that you look flashy on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? If that system, that one box go out, you know what I'm saying, you need steer tires. You know what I'm saying? Or for one example that I seen on YouTube, man, he went up in the mountains and all his drive tires had a chunk taken out of them. He had to get all 8 drive tires replaced. Crazy. Like, in just one trip, like he went 6 months straight, no real repairs or none of that, maintaining the truck, everything. One load, all 8 drive tires. Had to replace them all. That joint was crazy, man. You see what I'm saying? The market doesn't care how much the load pays in total if your cost, time, and destination make it unprofitable. Being strategic, not accepting just big paying loads, and not knowing what type of market, what freight market you're going to be going into. So owner-operators don't survive by running the hardest. They survive by making better decisions repeatedly. You see what I'm saying? So that goes in hand with the phrase "work smarter, not harder," man. You feel what I'm saying? The voice of the road, Money Miles of Motivation.